that like a religion?
Recording in progress. Yes, Christianity is a religion.
Ah, I didn't know that. I thought it
Amazing.
was just the thing that the church believes in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought like religion was like Buddhism or something.
Buddhism is a
Buddhism?
religion.
Oh, Buddhism is a religion?
Yeah. Despite its
Oh, okay.
atheistic view of the world, but it's still a religion, yes.
Oh, I didn't understand that before. I still don't understand it now, but
I think
like,
Buddhism is like about meditation and like the cosmic consciousness. The cosmos.
is that like space?
Uh, I'm not so like there's different strands of Buddhism. So for Zen Buddhism, like of course like one of the common practice they have is meditation, and they believe like their meditation leads them to like a sense of peacefulness. But like when you like are talking about like those perhaps like their doctrines, I'm not sure. I do have a book on Zen Buddhism, but I haven't read it yet.
You read books? You must be so smart.
Oh, thank you. Do you read books?
No, I read Instagram
Bullshit.
reels. Hey, don't swear at me.
How's your reading progress on what like the book by Marx, like the fake one that you stole from Haberdasher's Adams, like the
Use
cap
Marx.
capitalism, is it?
Capitalism. Is that like buying stuff?
You're so annoying. You're literally studying philosophy in Southampton University, and yes, you're like pretending to be dumb. Are
I'm
you?
not pretending to be dumb. That's very insensitive of you.
Of course.
Not everyone has the spare time to read Zen Buddhism, Bosco.
Well, I haven't read it yet, so yeah, strictly speaking, I don't have the time as well.
Okay.
So, are you planning
Are
to
you in a plane right now? Are you
what?
on a are you on a plane? An
No,
airplane?
it's a.
You're lying because there's the earth behind you.
I will just change the background to like just none. Will that satisfy you? No, this is not none. None. What? It's not changing. What the hell? Fine, okay.
I think this is pretty.
Wait. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, because like behind me is a white wall. Funny, right?
Oh, there's a right wall behind you now.
Yes.
Hang on, Bosco. Let me lock in. Let me lock in.
Log in. Oh my days. Who's gonna watch this? What's your point? Go on. Guys, give it like if anyone is actually like watching this video in the future, just give him a few seconds. Like he's like having a brain fog or like he's demon possessed.
Who are you? What do you want from me?
I was not expecting this. I thought we were gonna actually have like an academic conversation.
Oh, an academic conversation. Oh, I didn't realize you wanted an academic conversation.
Okay. Well, I guess you can start talking about what you're learning now at Southampton on philosophy. If you're gonna be serious,
Bosco, this video is gonna be bad for your career.
I
It's
don't
gonna be
care.
bad for my
I'm still
career.
gonna post it. I'm sorry.
It's gonna it's gonna devastate the wildlife, Bosco.
The wildlife,
Yeah,
of course.
the ecosystem.
Uh-huh.
It will be negatively affected.
Okay.
Very sad. The endangered populations of fish,
Right.
insects,
Ah,
amphibians.
okay. Why?
Anyways, enough about that. Let's get to what's right here, right now. There's a there's a specter, Bosco. There's a specter. Some might say a ghost, others will say a specter. A spirit haunting Europe. The
What you
specter of communism.
in Europe?
All the great powers have joined in a holy alliance to exorcise the specter.
Okay.
Let me get the rest of it. Hang on. Let's go. Let's go, Bosco. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Wait, 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. All the old powers of Europe have entered into a holy alliance to exorcise the spectre. Pope Pinzar, Metternich, and Gazot, French radicals and German police spies. What do you think about that, Bosco?
What's a spectre?
I just told you, it's like a ghost or spirit.
Right. Okay, okay. I'm
Bosco,
not sure.
Europe, Europe,
Give me more details. Well, I guess it's good that there's like
Europe.
socialistic like movements going on.
Where is the party in opposition that has not been decried as communistic by its opponents in power? Where is the opposition that has not held back this branding reproach of communism against the more advanced opposition parties as well as against its reactionary
I don't think
adversaries?
I'm following.
Bosco, everyone is calling each other communist as like an insult. So the party in power, right? You have the party in power, and you also have the party in opposition. You have the
Right?
party in opposition, Bosco. You have the opposition party and you have the party in power. And look, this opposition party has said, you're communist, and this opposition party said, you're communist, you're communist. Grrr.
Right, okay.
And then this third party said, hang on, you're communist. And then this party said, you're communist. They all hate each other. And they all saying they're communists. Okay. Isn't that crazy?
Well, yeah, I guess it's crazy that people now uses communist as an adjective to insult people.
Yeah, yeah. Where's the party in opposition that has not been decried as communistic by its opponents, Bosco? That is the question.
Has the conservatives in England ever been called communistic?
Where hasn't it happened, Bosco? Anyways, two things, two things result from this fact. Communism is already acknowledged by all European powers to be itself a power. The other thing is that it's high time that communists should openly, in the face of the whole world, publish their views, their tendencies, and meet this nursery tale of the spectre of communism with a manifesto of the party itself.
So
A
what does that
communist
mean in human
manifesto.
language? So what does that actually means in English?
Okay, everyone's calling each other communist. Two things result from this fact, Bosco. Communism is already powerful because everyone sees it as a threat, okay?
Oh,
And
right.
the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is that everyone's calling each other communists, but they don't even know what communism is. So the actual communists need to need to tell them what it actually means so that this story of the specter of communism, like the ghost, you meet it with reality, Bosco, with a manifesto of the Communist Party.
Yeah. So what's the manifesto?
It's the thing I just read to you.
Okay.
It's the
So
Communist Manifesto,
in
Bosco.
plain language, what does it mean? Like what is what
Oh, it tells you like all the views, um, tendencies, like what communists do, what communism is about.
cool, okay, yeah, I think I get it now. Okay. Yeah. So I
To
guess you
this
can
end,
I guess you can actually talk a bit about how you slowly, I don't know, like how you became a communist. Like if okay, right, just let me ask you a question first. Like will you say a socialist and a communist is synonymous?
nah, it's like
So it is different.
because words, Bosco, have different connotations. They have different connotations. Socialism is like pretty respectable in general.
Right.
So you know, you can so it's like socialism is a classless society.
A classed society.
Classless. It's a classless.
Classless.
Yeah. Um, it's less advanced, maybe, a form of communism, just like
Oh, okay.
but you know, socialism comes in all different types, I guess. You know, you have social democrats, you
I
have like anarchists, you know, you have progressives call themselves socialists, uh, you have libertarian socialists, market socialism, market socialism.
yeah.
So there's all different types of socialism,
Ah,
and there's all different types of communism as well.
yeah.
But communists tend to disagree about if these other types are actually communist,
Makes sense.
versus socialists usually agree that all the other types of socialists are socialists. So there's that.
Say it again. What things
So
all of them are?
a market socialist and a libertarian socialist, or like a social democrat, or not maybe not a social democrat, but a democratic socialist. They'll all agree that they are socialist, like all the different types of socialism are socialist. But the different types of communism don't always agree, usually disagree more on whether other types of communism are communist.
So communisms have like a more distinct like structure of the model, whereas socialists they are like a bit more blended.
Yeah, well, look, the vast majority of communists, like 90%, 99%, I'd at least they say like we agree with Karl Marx, you know, we agree with Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels.
Yeah.
Um, so
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
S- So you were talking about communists. So
yeah,
like
yeah.
so communists they they have like a common regard of Engels and Marx, but socialists don't.
Oh, a lot of socialists like Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels as well. See, look, a lot of socialists are just people that are in the process of becoming communists as also.
Oh, right, okay. I never knew that. That's cool, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So like, is there like any new understanding or discovery for you recently on you being a Marxist?
yeah, it's very, very interesting thing. So have you ever heard of a mutation
Yes. I study A-level biology, so yes.
in maths?
Not in that context.
What do you mean not in that context?
I've never learned about the concept of mutation in A-level mathematics.
So it's a crazy thing. So basically, you have a function and a function is applied to a variable, right? Yeah,
Yes.
to an unknown.
Yeah, if you
So
input a
basically,
if you input a value in
there's
a
a function
function,
that exists.
yeah,
Yeah.
go on.
So basically, what it does, this function, it changes the expression, yeah, in
Mm.
terms of x, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, like so you input different values into the function, and when you input one value, it only leads to one value. Yes.
And then with the expression, you can put that back into another function, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
basically,
you're saying like you're
yeah.
using the first output to put into another function.
Okay, so there's the function that you put the output into itself, yeah. So if you put the output into itself 5 times, it turns back into the original input.
Right, okay. I've learned something similar like that, like something like estimation, in st the module of statistical mechanics. So what's your point?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
point.
So it turns back into itself, which is really interesting.
So it's like you input values on the graph and then it slowly becomes to the original value.
No, no, not the regression. It you take x and put it in function f, yeah,
Yeah.
and then you take the output of basically f bracket f bracket f bracket f bracket f bracket x, close all the brackets, equals x.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Maybe next time we should have like a whiteboard for that. Then it might be easier for non-mathematics audience to understand. But I guess you have to have learned about the concept of a function to understand this. But yeah, go on, go on.
So, um,
So like, what's your point on
so
like?
it's really interesting. It's really interesting,
Is it like
Bosco.
economic thing? Is it like an economy like concept?
No, I saw it in physics.
Yeah. So what's the point? How does that like relates to Marxism?
Well, basically, Bosco, the function is a transformation of the value. It's changed.
Yes,
The
through a
value, yeah,
through an equation. Yes. Yeah.
and we're changing it in the same way each time. Yet it turned into itself. The value turned into itself, Bosco.
So you're trying to find an equation to slowly change capitalism to socialism or
Well, so basically,
communism.
Bosco, look, the thing is that's so interesting because Guess what's also changing in the same direction all the time, Bosco? The economy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So the economy is always progressing. It's becoming
Yes.
more productive.
Yeah, yeah. And
The
I've
human
so I was
productivity.
actually just reading I just took basically I took two of like the parcels of like the communist newspaper that are delivered to Bucharest Hall, and I was reading one of them like yesterday, and it talked about like how
Wait, you have them?
I have
Are
two
they
of
are
them.
you have them all? You have them all.
No, I have two of them. I only took two of them. I believe like the
Why do you
other
take
ones.
them all?
Yeah, I took all of them. Yes, the ones that are delivered. I have two of them.
Oh, okay. But the other ones, what happened to the other ones?
I'm not sure. They're probably like continuously thrown away by Bucharest Hall if you have said nothing to them. Anyway, so the newspaper was talking about like when economic system fails to achieve its own purpose, production, it will progress to the further advanced version of it. So feudalism to capitalism, and then according to like uh what the goal of history, uh, that capitalism will eventually becomes socialism or communism, something like that, right?
Yeah, but not in a deterministic way.
Okay, yeah, yeah. The world can end before that, yes, by climate change, an asteroid, human greed. Yeah. Okay, go on. Go on. Hey,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so what you so basically we started with primitive communism
right?
and then human progress is what basically made it slave society.
Human progress is basically what made slave. Yeah, but
1 second. I need to see this crystal. It gives me superpower. Okay. Yeah, what are you saying? Oh yeah, human progress
yes.
made the slaves, Bosco, because basically, in order to have slaves, yeah, the thing, why would you have a slave if the slave can only make enough food to feed himself or herself?
Why will you make a slave if the slave can only feed himself or herself?
Yeah.
Because that's what slave is for. Like, it's just a tool for the master for production, and
Yeah,
so
okay, but why
and it's like a
what does the master gain in that case?
like luckily a loyal slave, so that slave will obey you for the sake of survival, and you don't have to give him back anything, and you're exploiting that human's right for production. Yeah.
But Bosco, look, the slave every day he only makes enough food for himself. He has to eat all the food he makes. So in that scenario, the the slave owner has no reason to have a slave because the slaves they can only make enough food to feed
For
themselves.
themselves.
Yeah.
But that's
So
not usually the case, though. There is always a surplus value.
yeah, they in a slave society is because you had domesticated animals, agriculture,
Yes.
metal tools,
Yeah,
Bosco.
yeah, like the the origins of civilization. Yeah,
Yeah, so
the
this
important
progress,
inventions.
this technology is what allowed people to produce more food It allowed people to make enough food for themselves and then a bit extra, which can go to the slave master, the
Yeah.
slave owner. So the normal human life in nature only evolved to make enough food to feed ourselves. But then what happened? Then we're too clever for God, and then we started to make surplus, and all the horrors of the world started. You had oppression of women, slavery, war, famine. You had,
I think famine
football.
can I think usually famine is caused by the nature though.
Famine really is has to only exist in an agricultural society where you rely on normal like
Nomadic
farming
life.
crops. Yeah, like you don't actually you have hunger, you can be hungry, but not on a societal level like a famine is, which is really bad because in usually you have like a bit of leeway. You might not be full all the time, but you don't like starve for an extended period of time as bad as a famine where your normal food intake just suddenly changes. Like famine
Yes,
is
yes, like agriculture in a
invention.
way is a disruption of the natural cycle. When you're like
Yeah, yeah,
a hunting gatherer, you're like a part of the ecosystem. But when you start agriculture, like you're making your own ecosystem.
yeah. So look, we had the original human life, human way of life, production process of just hunter-gatherer. Okay. And then we applied the function of progress, of economic technological progress to the society, and it changed. Okay. It changed into something else. And then we applied the economic progress again, and it changed into something else. And then we applied it again, and then it changed into capitalism. But what do we learn from the mu mathematical mutation, Bosco? We learned that it it just changed back into itself. Isn't that crazy? So
So
it's going to change back into communism, but having gone through this entire process, it's going to be a much more technologically advanced version of the primitive communism,
what's the primitive communism?
a hunter-gatherer. Because in
Oh,
hunter-gatherer, there's no money, there's no class, there's no private property.
yeah, they sometimes still own
Everyone
stuff
is
though.
free.
They can still own property though. They just don't have like a currency yet. They
They,
exchange
they
it.
can they might own like fools, but yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but like
There's
the
no
tribes they are
production for
usually
value,
yeah,
Bosco.
the tribes they are quite like communists. Yes, yes. They live as a group. They live for the like greater good of the group. Yes. And that is group selection by Charles
Yeah.
Darwin.
So yeah, yeah. So that's uh that's the story, Bosco. It
So
will
will you
change
say like
this
the like because
change
the early
back into
church is like
itself.
a socialist community, and now it progressed to like a more like capitalistic church environment, and it will eventually evolve back to a communistic church environment again. I'm just using like the church thing. But wait, like we are running out of time. Ah,
So
that's
basically,
annoying.
Bosco, the
So
the
we
reason the
have
church
we
changed,
have like 9 minutes 48 seconds left for this
yeah.
conversation. So let's
So
see what we will end at
the reason the church changed is because
of the society. Yeah,
the e
the society because of the society.
economic mode of production had changed by then. So yeah,
Wow, okay, that's actually that is actually really cool when you think about it with like the function.
Well, it's dialectical, Bosco.
So what's the dialect? Like communism and capitalism.
It's Shanghainese.
Well, I think the dialectical there is like communism, no self-property, and capitalism have self-property. Sound
Bosco. So basically, those are ideas, and they only exist in your head. Communism and capitalism are ideas.
Do you think ideas are made up by biochemical reactions?
Uh, yeah, yeah.
Well,
But
because I'm a Christian,
but
I think ideas are ideas.
your biochemical reactions aren't gonna change society. Okay. So so basically, that's not the thing. The dialectical is between the working class and the bourgeoisie.
Yeah, the capitalists, the rich people,
They're not always rich. Sometimes they're poor.
poor but they have the power. They are like the politicians. You mean like the ruling class?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So, so the dialects is between the confrontations and conflicts between the ruling class and the working class,
It's the contradiction. Okay, okay, let me help you. It's the contradiction, Bosco. It's not the dialect. The dialect is just a way of speaking.
so the contradiction will eventually leads to a communistic society, hopefully, through human
Yeah,
progress.
well, that's just a understanding of how changes happen. It's like a theory of change.
Yes, ideas change the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
Yes,
No, no,
ideas do change the world.
not the ideas, Bosco. Not
The
the
people
biochemical
change the world. Yes,
reaction.
the ideas change how people act, and how people act differently changes the world.
Okay, it's the consciousness. It's the consciousness.
I am
The
curious.
consciousness
So if
changes
you
how
are an
people act.
atheist, how do you explain consciousness? How consciousness can comes out from unconsciousness? I know there's
I
different
have
theories, right?
I have a text about this.
A text about this,
Do you want me to read the text?
of course.
Okay, let me read it for you, Bosco.
Go on.
You ready? Okay. Knowledge of the natural world was useful as it was the resources in the natural world which allowed for the social reproduction of life, such as food.
Okay. Repeat
Humans
and
experience the world and
repeat
remember
and a bit
concepts which has
slower.
utility. When knowledge stopped being useful, such as when they needed to walk left or right to avoid walking into a tree that has already been avoided, they forgot about it. Humans had knowledge of their tribe members through matrilineal descent, which was useful to produce the requirements of living and economic cooperation. Just as the dexterity of the hand allowed for the mind to develop in evolution, the benefits of communication allowed for the development of our communicative capacities. Language is one of these, which has a capacity strengthened by the development of the voice box. It should be noted that language needs shared terms in order to transfer encoded information, which is a large implication on how we perceive the world. Facial expressions and body language allowed for a theory of mind. After that is developed, people can do hand gestures, mimicry, and onomatopoeia, intentionally engineering the experience of others by manipulating the body, which may all have been starting points which allowed for the development of syntactic language and grammar. Communication requires ideas to communicate, which is easier to adopt than generate yourself. It is clear that language has had to be developed socially, not invented by one exceptional person. It is also an important regulator which allows for consciousness. which can only be similar between people as a result of shared ideas. So it is really the ability to adopt the ideas of others which allowed for the development of consciousness. The ability to communicate ideas between members of the tribe allowed for both the transfer of information between members of the tribe and transfer of novel ideas between members of the tribe. The consequence of the former was that the members of the tribe could gather more information than what is accessible from first-hand accounts alone. The consequence of the latter was that the reward for generating ideas increased. This allowed for the democracy of primitive communism, where decisions in tribes were made with more information than what is accessible to any individual tribe member through first-hand account. Reason two is a process conditioned by social pressures, which greater explanations are created to respond to greater challenges,
Right,
where
okay,
different
you
positions
have
are held,
three
sometimes
minutes and
suddenly,
26
sometimes
seconds.
secretly, which play out in the
I think you
democracy of
should
tribal
probably
political life. Democracy
stop reading
characterized by the
because you're
necessity and
running
heavily
out of
stamped with the
time
influence of
and you
human
should make your
biology.
point now.
Experiences created by a biological mechanism which a strong
Hey,
consciousness is required for social relations.
hey, stop.
Knowledge is the
Stop.
abstraction of experiences
Stop.
which cannot be remembered as they are
Stop.
experienced, only remembered or communicated as expressions of that experience, given that knowledge must be abstract.
Stop.
Sometimes sentience or self-awareness can be used as something less demanding. I'll say an animal which is able to learn about itself using a mirror is certainly self-aware, but an animal which is able to have an internal dialogue is certainly conscious. To illustrate my point, I don't think a solitary modern human would be able to develop the language necessary for an internal monologue anywhere near the complexity and consideration most humans socialize in
Yes,
the language
so
are
language
capable of.
should be developed in a
However,
social
up until
manner.
now,
Yes.
all knowledge came from experience of the natural world. The development of concepts such as justice, independence of emotion, and rational systems such as numeracy relies on education. This is a similar result of the higher level of abstraction which leads to a qualitative change, a stage which we cannot move beyond. Education is a form of communication, but is geared towards reducing the penalty of inexperience for the individual and reducing the penalty of death for the tribe. As it relies on generalization, a form of abstraction, in order to communicate more useful knowledge than what it would be possible for learners outside of the education for a given time frame. For example, people might be taught to avoid all mushrooms of a particular color rather than individual types of mushroom to be avoided. However, if knowledge is not used, it is forgotten. So not Education must also instruct on how to use knowledge. The knowledge is abstracted away from its original use, so teachers must create an environment. Oh, what? Okay, wait. So teachers must create an environment. Wait.
I think it would be a good idea
Therefore,
to
not
make your point now because we only have like
create an
1 minute
environment
and
where the
42
knowledge
seconds
just
left.
has an alienated purpose. In contemporary society, that is a test. Therefore, people are compelled in some way to learn. Generalized abstractions, along with the alienated knowledge, allowed for knowledge which do not necessarily relate back to the material world, despite uses being fully. Um, the abstraction necessary for communication is not the inhibitor, but the substance of communication, knowledge, and consciousness. It is with the return to communistic democracy where humans can further develop education as the function of knowledge and the content of knowledge become inseparable, given that each individual has full autonomy and the consciousness of the whole is the authority of the whole. So basically, Bosco, as you can see, I just explained consciousness to you, okay? I just explained consciousness. You ever gonna get an explanation of consciousness better than that? The answer is no, Bosco. I just explained your consciousness. Okay, I just explained the most important questions.
I think it would be nice for you to just share the text with me next time first. And I guess I can also like share
For
that
my
text on my
criticism of
YouTube.
education, Bosco, for my criticism of education, refined by
Less than one
Marxism,
minute.
I've explained consciousness to you. You're not gonna get a better explanation of consciousness than that, Bosco. It is, it is the abstraction of ideas mediated by our social relations. It is the social relation itself which is a substance of consciousness. It's the fact that you live in a community which means you are aware of reality, Bosco. It's your